Today's lesson is continuing our work on percents. This is where it gets more specific to what we're learning this year, what we've learned up until now. Should have been a review from things that you may have learned previously. Today we're going to be talking about how to calculate taxes, tips, and commissions. We have just a few more topics left in percents. This is one of them. We're going to talk about how to find simple interest. And we're going to talk about how to find percent of change, and that will close out our percents unit. And all of this goes with the same standard, the standard of solving multi-step ratio and proportion problems. Okay, so I've asked you here to think about and write down a definition for the following words. So does anybody have a definition of what you think a tax is? And I'm talking about sales tax here, not income tax. Adrian? Well, go ahead.
When the government takes our hard work for money.
Okay, so we're not going to be calculating income taxes here, but yeah, the government takes how much of our money? Adrian?
I guess I was going to say sales tax is 6%.
Sales tax is 6%. How much does the government take when they take our money? Irene?
Isn't it 2%?
No, it's more than 2%.
Oh, well.
It's way more than 2. But it actually depends. But it's a percentage. It depends on your income bracket, so not everybody pays the same percent. But it is based on a percentage of your income. So whenever you work a job and you get a paycheck, your paycheck usually has money already taken out to apply for your towards your taxes. So at the end of the year, sometimes people have too much money taken out and they get a refund, which is kind of a nice thing. But specifically for tax, we're going to be calculating sales tax. So, Adria, you told us that sales tax is 6%, but what is sales tax?
It's
Haley?
every dollar you spend on like a toy or clothes or something, you have to pay that 6 cents. You have to pay another 6 cents.
Okay, good. So every dollar that you spend, you have to pay an extra 6 cents. Irene?
I was going to say, you take your total amount that you're paying for something, and you take 6% of that, and that will go, I think that goes to the state, right?
Yeah, I believe that's
Yeah, it goes to the state, and then you have to add that onto your subtotal beforehand to get your complete total.
Yeah, so you may have written something down here. I'm going to write as a definition, it's a percent of the purchase price that you pay. And not everything is taxed. If you buy food at the grocery store, that food is not taxed. However, if you buy food in a restaurant, that food would be taxed. Clothing is not supposed to be taxed, but I think sometimes it is now. I know it wasn't for a long time. Okay, how about tip? Anybody have a definition? Grace?
Isn't that like 20% of your final bill at a restaurant?
Okay, for what? What does it go to?
The waitress, the cook.
Yeah, so at a restaurant, now you're using 20%. The common tip amount is 15%, but you give 20% if the service was good. So you should never give less than 15% because a lot of times the waitresses and waiters, they don't make a big income because some of their income comes from tips. So it's only fair to give them 15%, even if they're having a bad day. You still want to give them 15%, but 20% is a nicer amount to give them. Irene?
I know that for like minimum wage for waiters, it's like $3 an hour, and then you get your tips extra on.
Yeah, so it's less than it is in other jobs. Ailey?
Our server gave our waitress gave us fast passes to a ride, so we paid for like a 30%.
Yeah, that was nice.
Fast passes were sold out.
Yeah, nice. Wow. Okay, can anyone think of any other situations where you might tip other than eating in a restaurant? Irene?
Detailing the car, I know sometimes if you like say you're going to detail your car, you'll give them a tip if they do a really good job.
Okay, Braden?
Taxi.
Taxi?
Hairstylist.
What's that? Hairstylist. Elena, what was it? Hairstylist. So we're going to define it as an extra amount you give to someone who does a service for you. So extra amount you give to someone who provides a service. Okay, last thing, people generally aren't quite as familiar with this. Last thing is commission. Anybody know what that is? Adria?
Money that you earn from selling something.
Okay, good. Money that you earn for selling something. Anyone have a different way of phrasing that? Okay, I'm going to say it's a percent of something sold that the salesperson keeps. So certain fields, like car salesmen, they work on commission. Some of them get a salary, some of them don't. Some of them just get whatever car they sell, they get a percent of that purchase price of the car. Appliance salesmen, like at Sears, I know they used to get commission. People who worked in shoe stores used to get commissions. If they sold you a pair of shoes, they would get to keep a percent of the money that you paid for the shoes. So it's a percent of something sold that the salesperson keeps. And today's lesson is super practical. It's not one of those math things that you're going to look at me and say, where am I going to use this in the real world? Because it's all about the real world. Okay, let's take a look at some examples of the different types of problems. First is an example of a tax problem. Samantha buys a new bicycle for $239. She has to pay a sales tax of 6%. How much does she pay for the bicycle? Now, if we were using a proportion, we would find 6% of $239 to find out what that is. I'm also going to show you a shortcut way, but let me do the proportion first. So if her sales tax is 6%, we would write that as 6 over 100 equals the part is the tax she pays, the whole is 239. Now, we can do this by cross multiplying. We can do 239 times 6 and then divide by 100. And you can do all of your percent problems this way, but I'm going to show you a shortcut. Since we're going to be multiplying these two numbers together and then dividing by 100, what you can do is essentially divide by 100 first, and you can use the percent as a decimal. So if the tax rate is 6%, you can change that to 0.06. That's how you write. Remember, we did percents as decimals. You can write it as a decimal and multiply it times the purchase price. This is just a shortcut, especially if you're using a calculator. It makes it a little faster to do the problems. This is how I do all of my percent problems in the real world. I do not write out proportions every time I figure out a percent. I would either do it mentally this way, or I would type it into my calculator. And we get an answer of 14.34. So we know that Samantha would pay $14.34 in taxes. Now that's not the total amount she paid, that's extra. So what we have to do to find the total amount paid, we have to add the purchase price and the tax. So the bike was $239 plus she had to pay $14.34 for tax, for a total of $253.34. Any questions about that? Okay, the next slide is one for you to try, so I'll give you a minute to work on that and then we'll talk about it. Okay, let's talk about this. So, Blake buys a new pair of hockey skates for $129. The tax rate is 6.5%. How much does he pay for the skates? Irene, what equation or proportion did you use? What way did you do it?
6.5 over 100.
Okay.
Equals x over 129.
Okay. And then what did you get for x?
X equals 8.385, which I just rounded to 8.39.
Good.
$8.39.
$8.39. So we've been rounding to the nearest hundredth a lot. This comes in very handy when we're doing tax because dollar amounts we always want to round to the nearest hundred. Okay, and then how much did he pay total? Oh, go ahead, Irene.
$137.39.
Okay, good. $137.39. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, let's go on to a tip example. Tina and Mike went to dinner at the local Chinese buffet. Their bill came to $32.89. They want to leave a tip of 15% for their waitress. How much will they pay altogether? So this is done just like a tax problem. You're going to take the tip rate, which is 15%, times the price of the food to get the tip. I'm also going to show you a shortcut for finding tips because if you don't have a calculator handy and you want to estimate the tip, there's a way to do that. So first we'll look at how we do it just using the formula. The tip rate is 15%. I'm going to do this the easy way. I'm going to change it to 0.15 and I'm going to multiply it times the price of the food. If you wanted to set up a proportion, you would have 15 over 100 equals x over 32.89. Okay, when I do this, you get 4.93. So he would leave a tip of $4.93. And most people, if they get $4.93, they're going to leave a $5 tip because you probably don't have exact change. And then when you add the price of the food, which is $32.89, plus the price of the tip, you get a total of $37.82. Now, an easy way to estimate the tip is to take 10% of something, because finding 10% is really easy because you just have to move the decimal. So 10% of 32.89 is just moving the decimal over one. It would be 3.29. I would probably round that. If I were estimating, I'd say, okay, that's about $3.30. Then to get 15%, 5% is half of 10%, right? So you think, well, what would half of $3.30 be? Well, half of $3 is $1.50. Half of 30 cents would be 15 cents. So we're up to $1.65. So then you can just, in your head, add together $3.30 and $1.65, and you're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of $5. You don't have to be exact when you're leaving a tip, but you want to make sure you leave enough. So it's a good idea to just kind of estimate, doing a lot of rounding as you go, just to make sure that you're in the ballpark, and always round up because it's better to leave more tip than less tip. Okay, next slide is one for you to try. Okay, I think we're good, or at least close to being done here. Reed, were you able to finish? What did you do? Did you set up a proportion, or did you just use the formula?
I just used the formula.
Okay, so what did you write?
41.26 times 0.20.
Okay. Times 0.20. Okay, and then what did you get as an answer?
8.25.
Good.
$8.25.
Okay, good. So they leave a tip of $8.25. And then what did you get when you added the price of the food and the tip?
$49.51.
Good. Any questions about how we got that? Okay, let's go on to a commission example. Susan sells appliances at Sam's Appliance Shop. She earns a commission of 35% for each appliance that she sells. Yesterday, she sold a refrigerator for $1,798. How much commission did she receive? Well, we find this the same way that we found tax and tip. We take the commission rate, which is 35%. I'm going to change that to 0.35 times the selling price of the appliance, which was $1,798. And that's going to give us the commission that she earned. So when we multiply those two numbers, we get $629.30. For this problem, you are done. There's no adding it on to the price of the refrigerator. She doesn't get the whole price of the refrigerator plus the commission. It doesn't work that way. She only gets the $629.30, and the remainder of the money that the people paid for the refrigerator goes maybe to the store that sold the refrigerator, and a percentage would go back to the original company that sold the store the refrigerator, so the factory that made the refrigerator. So the money goes a lot of different places, but that would just be her commission. The only time you have to add something on is if sometimes you'll have problems where somebody earns a base salary. So maybe you have a car salesman who earns $20,000 a year as a base salary. He also earns commission on the cars he sells. So if you were to figure out how much he made in a year, you might have to add together his base salary plus the amount he made in commissions. But the problems that we're doing today, you don't have to do that with commission. All right, one more for you to try. This is our last one. All right, let's go over this one. Eli, what did you use the formula or did you write a proportion?
I wrote the formula.
Okay, what did you write?
I did 0.12 times 16,997.
Okay, and what did you get as an answer?
I got 2,039
Okay, excellent. Just judging from watching some of you, you looked like you really are feeling pretty well about this. Just to confirm that, give me a thumbs up if you feel good about it. If you're kind of iffy about it, give me a thumbs down. All right, I think it's unanimous. We're going to skip the exit ticket today because we have some other things that we're going to do, and it took a little longer with the quiz.